It's coming.
There we go. We're live.
And
We're
live.
live. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Edison podcast. We're basically just going to be going into what we did this week, what's happening. There's been some huge progress, obviously, on the chassis, and we did a couple other cool things.
A couple other cool things. Sounds like you guys had a pretty sweet week, but we'll get into that later.
It was a pretty dope week. How you been, though? On a personal note, though, Jordan, as we're getting started,
Me?
how's things going? Yeah.
Well, if anyone was in our queue there, like we were sitting there yelling about our phones, that's got me riled up lately. But Manitoba weather's been nice and chilly. Not my favorite thing, but plus road restrictions back, so that's for moving stuff around. That's kind of been nice. Well, it's been good. Restrictions have been back though, so it's not been too bad. But the cold weather sucks. Been working outside a lot, but is what it is. So how about you guys? I don't know which part you want to start with. I was hoping to talk about your week like immediately, but we can do it later as well.
I mean, we could get into it, I guess, but over like how you doing? Like that's how we always started things.
I know. Listen, you want to hear me talk about stress? I'll tell a funny work story. I will go into that if you guys are down to hear that. But so I'm helping supervise.
Just keep it short.
I'll keep it kind of short. You asked how my day is. Keep it short. But
not too much information, Jordan. Not too
How's your day, but like just be like, hey, it's going good, Chase. Thanks for asking. But let's hear about your work story.
I did that. You said let's expect. You guys got my brain in a pretzel. This is manipulation. So I was at work, and like again, I'm helping supervise. And at one point, all the stress of any days could hit me. A guy comes over to me, and there's a bank caving where guys are working. So it's like, we got to get the guys out of there. As I'm handling that situation, the traffic lights go down on this job. So cars are backing up, and that's a problem. And then as that guy's telling me that the lights are down, someone yells, fire, fire. And I got a guy coming over yelling that there's a fire. So all this in 10 minutes, very stressful. We got through it. Nobody died. But that was some scary stuff for a little bit.
This reminds me of like those OSHA violation videos that you see where like the inspector walks over and he's like, how's your shoring doing? I don't notice you have any. And then the whole thing just caves in on the guy and he jumps out of the way. Something like that.
Yeah, that was my week.
With fire.
No, it was a little stressful, but I'm sure
good.
There's lots to talk about that is important, like the truck.
Yeah. So one of the cool things is that the batteries are now finishing up. The first set of batteries just finished the production. Eric and Keaton, our electrical guys, flew over to the factory to go check it out. They are done. They work. So we've given permission to finish up the next one. We're basically said like, hey, build this set because we did some upgrades on the battery management system and basically the power distribution, the thing that controls how all the high voltage flows. We did upgrades on that since Top Seat and how that finally finished production. So they're able to take that to the batteries, test it. Good news, it all works. And the batteries exceeded expectations. They did some thermal management testing, basically seeing, hey, if we do full discharge and charge cycles, do the batteries get cold? They did failure testing, like worst case scenario, we lose the coolant for the batteries and the glycol. What happens to those batteries if they're still doing charging, discharging? The batteries protected themselves as they should. It didn't get too hot. And when eventually it did start getting a little hot, the batteries handled that on their own. So that test went well. The charging, we were able to plug into fast chargers and fast charge the batteries like you would in a wall. And we were able to hook it up to basically a load bank and discharge those batteries. And the C rating was absolutely fantastic. So we're going to have no problem running the generator and doing regen on the batteries or regen on the drive axles at the same time. If you remember, that was one of the problems we had with Topsy. You couldn't regen with the generator on, or it sent an over voltage. The batteries on Topsy just couldn't handle that charge rating without throwing error codes. These ones will.
That's just the different batteries now that's the solution to this.
Yeah, they're the LMO chemistry batteries now, and they're just like fantastic. Apparently, they were all over the moon.
LMFAO, and it's actually we talked to someone who is involved in electric vehicles, and we told them their chemistry, and they're actually surprised, like, oh wow, that's super advanced. They were thinking we're going to be doing with like lithium iron phosphate or something. So we're getting ahead of the technology or up to date because it moves so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually stoked. We met with some people that knew about electric vehicles and worked on some hybrids, and yeah, they were impressed that we were ahead of the curve. So go Edison, still
No
out
way.
in front.
That is pretty cool. Always leading the charge here. So
Yeah, we still don't have to use lithium ion, which was the big success. Is that I'm not a huge fan of lithium ion because of their thermal, their potential to have thermal runaways. You know, like battery fires, and you hear like the batteries running away. That's always normally a lithium ion.
That was a big concern for us for a while, because it's like, how do we, like, if that happens, even in testing, like everything's gone. Lithium ion fires are just so destructive.
Well, and that's just it. And then we try to be like, well, we want to avoid that because you got to be bang on with your BMS system. So we're like, well, like it's still unknown. There's still issues, and if you get hit, something happens to the truck. There is some huge risk there. Like we don't want to do that, so we try to go lithium iron, not lithium ion, but lithium iron phosphate, because it has great thermal management. We tried to make that work, but as you can see that the C rating was a little bit too low for like heavy regen while charging, and we had to try and manage that. And that's when LMO batteries went into production, lithium magnesium oxide, I think. And basically they have a higher C capacity. They're not quite at lithium ion, but they're getting close, but they have like the thermal management. So it's a little bit of you play on this sliding scale of like, how safe do you want the battery to be? How powerful do you want it? It's very similar to what you see in like between diesel to methanol. Like, yeah, all right. Like gasoline is a little bit higher on the explosive side. It's more power dense than diesel, but diesel, you can like throw a lit match into a puddle of diesel and it doesn't ignite. You do that with gasoline vapors and it ignites. So it's that sliding scale of what you want. We're trying to stay more on the diesel side of it.
Which kind of is a related question. We just had a new member. This is live on YouTube if anyone's watching on Spotify or Apple. But Oderick says, how do you deal with high discharge power cell heating? I heard you say C discharge.
Yeah, so it's just all in the glycol. So the batteries take coolant, you probably know. The batteries just basically take 50-50 mix glycol, circulate that through it. And when it starts getting hot, we lower the discharging. The battery management system says, hey, you're discharging a little bit too much. Start ramping down the discharging. It knows how long it can discharge a certain amount of power for before getting hot. The more coolant you can flow. And now we upgraded Topsy because that was a issue we had when it was like 40 degrees out, 110 degrees Fahrenheit, doing the testing for that. Topsy would get too hot. So with normal cooling. So what we did is we put in active refrigerant cooling. So we're basically AC chilling those lines into the battery. So when it gets really, really hot, the AC compressor fires up and flows cooled, like really cool coolant all the way through the batteries to help that thermal mitigation.
So we had a question here. Am I allowed to ask the questions? That was exoteric. We just keep it to members only because you can get quite a few people viewing this and the chat will just get crazy spammed. So it is a good way to get on like the lower tiers, like maybe, I don't know, $3 a month. And it's not so much that we're just trying to make money off you guys asking questions. It's to just have it. So
the questions, as you can see, are really relatively busy. We want to be able to answer those, so we just take it for members only for people that sign up.
And it puts into more serious questions and how often we get the same questions. And you get a lot of those on all the YouTubes where it sounds like, okay, if they come to the chat, they know a lot about us and they're not asking those same questions.
Yeah, YouTube member will have a better understanding of the operations and have more refined, better, well put questions or informed questions.
Gavin says he's saving his money for IPO, so I feel like we should get into the next one. Investments still are open on the website.
Yeah, you might as well get in now, Gavin, before the IPO.
Gavin is in. Yeah, Gavin is in.
No.
So what we're trying to do, our investment goals. Great, fantastic news is like we basically have our operational expenses covered for the next 2 years at the current burn rate with wages and that. We've covered to build the next couple of truck projects, the trucks that we're keeping ourselves, the ones that haven't been purchased by a customer. We've got enough to build those. Now we need to build the shop. as you know, there's a 6-bay shop we can use in Golden that we can build like 4 trucks in at a time because 2 are really tiny bays. It's essentially a 3-bay shop, 4-bay shop. But we need to build the next shop. So the plan is we are going to be leaving the private placement investment round open for about the next 4 weeks. So, and in that 4 weeks is we are going, whatever we raise in that amount of time is going to be the money we have to build the shop, because we need to be into a new shop before the snow falls. Snow starts falling in Golden Donald property around October, which means that we have to have the building ready by October. That means September, we have to be doing electrical, plumbing, the interior stuff. If we're doing that in September, that means it's 2 months. Our estimated build time is about 2 months, which means August, July is the building, which means June, middle of June, we got to start having that foundation ready and ready to go. And the lead time on getting the building to site is about 8 weeks. We're going with a prefab metal structure. They have a 6 to 8 week lead time once you order it to get it there and get their crew set up, which means that it takes about 2 months after that. So that is May, April. So that gives us to the middle point of April to order it if we want to get moved into it before the snow falls in October. That gives us exactly 4 weeks. So what we are going to be doing is we're going to see how much we can raise in 4 weeks. We'll take that amount and we'll say, go to our builders. They gave us a budget for different tiers of like, hey, you need an 80 by 100 foot. It's going to be X amount. You want 100 by 100 foot. It's X amount. 100 by 200, 100 by 300. That's our biggest goal. Can we afford the overhead cranes? Can we not afford the overhead cranes?
Just like Mouse just commented, did he say the size of the prefab? And that is entirely dependent on how the investment raise goes.
So yeah. As it's sitting right now, we are midway through it. How is it looking? Which way are we leaning? Who got an idea?
So the money towards this has been really occurring for about 2 weeks. And I think we have about $500,000 to put towards the building. The top end, the 100 by 300,000 or 100 by 300, 30,000 square foot, which is ideally what we want. That's our big goal. That one's about $2.5 million. So we're short on that, but we're right around like with concrete. If we did like a simple stick frame, 80 by 100, we could do that. We know we're going to have to move out of that. So we can build something. We are at the point where we will be able to build some sort of shop. It's going to be tiny and it may be a storage or warehouse, but I'm really confident that if we could do 500,000, say in the last 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks, that we'll be looking at more of $1.5 million, which should be a metal prefab 100 by 150.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you say it may be a storage or warehouse, we mean it'll be usable for us at this stage, and then when we grow bigger, we would repurpose it as a storage or warehouse.
I think people got to make sure they remember that, because we don't want to go crazy, deck this out for manufacturing, building trucks. We want to do that, but we can't go too crazy because in a year or two, we could be into a bigger shop. So we want to be able to work out of it, manufacture it, but not like set up a bunch of permanent infrastructure in the shop.
Where I really want to is that 100 by 300 with the garage bay doors on the side. And the way we've set up this production is that we know we're going to have to grow. If we want to get to the size of Western Star when they were in Kelowna, when they were a Canadian company, that's where I want to get to. To get to there, we are going to need a much, much larger facility. It doesn't make sense, though, right now to raise the money to build that larger production facility. So what we're going to do is I want to build that 100 by 300 square metal prefab with the doors, and that will later become a service center. We're going to need a service center, a showroom. It'll still have the accounting, engineering offices, and that go in there. It could act as a little bit of a warehouse and half, but we're going to have to be able to service our trucks in the future. They've been on the road for 3 to 4 years. Bring them back in, give them a going through, inspections, mechanical work. Like, you go to any dealership, they have service bays. So the ideal plan is that we'll start production there, and then we'll turn that shop into a service bay. And I think that's why we're leaning towards the one spot versus the other spot, is that one spot's like 40 acres, Cool. We'll get started on that 40, and we'll leave the big 180 acre section for future growth, but we're not sure on that yet.
Sorry, Darren, you're gonna go.
So as Chase is talking about these different layouts for our shop, I actually this last week have been working on a video about that. So it's gone send off for post-production audio work, which is the final stage. And as soon as I get that back, we'll make it live. So there is a video coming out in the next week about the whole golden thing. We went back there, we walked over our plans, and so stay tuned for that.
Chase, are you just doing coffee right now? It's sorry, not to cut you off there. It's got to be coffee at this time.
It's got to be tea. It's like his fourth cup since we started.
Yeah, dude, what are you doing?
Oh, BW asked, hey guys, so is the Canadian investment open still, or is it American only? Actually, yes, it's open to Canadians, all international, although Australia and England have to email us for permission, and US. They all have the same requirements. You have to have an annual income of $200,000 a year. In the US, you have to verify that that's your income. In Canada, you just have to put and state that that's your income, and it's much more on the honor system, which is nice. But obviously, be honest, be truthful, because the government says that's your risk tolerance. But it is still open, and it's in whatever currency. So if you're international and Canadian, it's in Canadian dollars. If you're in the US, it's US dollars, but it does count your gross income before taxes. Like if you own a business, it's your business gross income, or if you have over $1 million in assets. But there are requirements. You have to go to the website, edisonmotors.ca, in order to invest. So I do want to say that there has been a lot of people trying to do investment scams with us. Our website, edisonmotors.ca, is the only place you can invest in.
And so if Chase messages you on Facebook for an investment, it is not him. We've said this many times. We'll say it again.
And for the record, this is not us. We didn't do that. We have to follow government regulations. It really goes against everything we stand for. But we are forced into following this government. We want everybody, blue collar workers. Like, you can't even invest if you're a truck driver. Like,
yeah, unless you're an owner operator. Owner operators can. They fall under it.
Still kind of rough years out there, but it goes everything against what we stand for. But we have to follow the government regulations, so it's not.
But we are working on that. Eric is working very diligently to allow everyone to be able to invest. Hopefully, we're like a month or two away from that, and then then once we can do that, we'll let everyone come in. We'll let that stay open for 2 weeks, then we'll close it down. But we're trying to keep our investment open a little bit longer so that we can finally process. We're getting the forms. We're getting the financial requirements. We're doing our financial audit for 2024 under the IFRS or GAAP requirements, whatever that financial reporting requirements are. We're getting that done. It's almost done. As soon as that's done, then we can let everybody invest because we've met our diligence to the government. So we're holding on. I know that there's a lot of people out there that do want to support us, and we want their support.
I'd throw a qualifying word in there. We are trying our best to make that happen.
Trying our best. Yes. It's we've been working on it, and it's so stupid. It's like you can go to a casino, drop all your money.
No, they want you to. They encourage you to do that. They want you to spend their money on gambling, but you can't invest in a company you believe in.
Like, it's $250. Like, that's the minimum they allow. And you're like, whoa. Unless you make over $200,000 a year, you can't possibly put in a couple $100 towards something you've been following and believing.
What do they expect people to do when they blow their tires? It's like, oh, if you don't make $200,000, you can't change a tire. You can't afford to replace it. It's over $250. Like, I don't understand their logic with that at all. But
no, it makes no sense. And it's basically, my opinion on it is that they only want rich people investing. Poor people can go to a casino. Rich people invest in companies. Like, no, sorry, we don't want anyone else getting ahead. Anyways, we've done that rant a few times.
Many times.
JRR says, when it comes to building the shop on the new golden property, wouldn't it be an option to close in that huge building that's already there and be much cheaper than the $2.5 million to build a new shop?
We brought out some engineers actually that volunteered their time to come out and have a look at it. That huge building, the main support beams are good all the way up until about the last 5-10 feet. But what's basically happened is that the water has gone down into the top 5-10 feet. It's ruined it. Some of the posts are now sinking, and some of them are like 6 inches down. And 4 of them have already collapsed where the entire roof is caved in. We're like, what would it take to fix that? Due to the fact that they're 140 foot, 12-inch wide, and like 4 feet thick beams, you would need to bring out a massive crane. Your hourly rate on that crane is going to be like $1,000, $2,000 an hour. It's going to take the engineering sign-offs, the work being done. They basically said, hey, look, guys, we thought maybe we could save it, but the amount of damage on that structure, it's going to be cheaper just to build a new one.
Yeah, bunch of cold storage.
This little detour. Josh West just joined, and he is I forget his account. He's a Tesla guy, and he goes to all the Tesla events. He actually shared a post with us, which brought it to my attention. I don't even know if we should go into this, but I'll bring it up anyway.
Whoa!
Frickin' David Ebby banned Teslas. No, put a tariff on Teslas. Only Teslas, not electric vehicles from the States. Only Teslas in BC. Now, I don't know if you want to jump into politics because that's not.
I'm not even getting it.
We got to stay out of politics. I don't mind you mentioning it. That seems insane.
I saw your post, Josh, and personally, I thought that was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. I think we got to go to a lighter note. All this finance talk making me.
Well, let's get into
the go-kart kits. I thought the go-kart kits was pretty exciting. That's always fun stuff. The kids had a great time last year. You guys look like you had maybe more fun than the kids did. So that's gonna be pretty exciting.
Oh, it was awesome. The Edison Go-kart Challenge was a huge hit. That combination of connecting students with local businesses in order to like work together to develop and race these kits went over so well. We had to do it again this year. Unfortunately, one of the crappy things about it is that the kits got delayed by like 2 months. There were some issues with the kits, definitely quality issues. I mean, these are just Chinese kits we are buying off of Alibaba. We're not even hiding that fact. We're just straight up going and buying these kits from China. They're go-kart kits. They're meant to last a day, and they're meant for people to figure out the engineering. Last year had some problems, though, so we changed up a lot of things. And in true Edison fashion, we can't leave it be. We started changing out change out to this differential, and I need this size gearing, and change out the throttle pedal, and change out the brake lines. And like, hey, can we put a bigger motor on it? So we went from like 1.5 kilowatt motors to 5 kilowatt motors. So we're giving them like 4 times the power.
Those things were fast before. Like they weren't that slow.
Yeah, but one of the issues they had is like they wanted to run bigger tires, and as soon as they got to the bigger tires, they couldn't get the torque. And it's like a bigger, wider tire would do it a little bit better on the sand. So now it's going to allow them to play around with some of that. Like now we got differentials that they can weld up the spider gears on and
lock it in
more different things. And like it's the motor they can actually take apart. Like some people wanted to run chain drives so they could change out their sprockets. Well, now you'll be able to take that motor apart if you want to run a chain drive or run it into a drive shaft. Like there's a cool
it gives a lot more options.
Yeah, now somebody, if they find like a cheap transfer case, can run a transfer case and make a 4-wheel drive that some people wanted. So we're giving them a lot more options this year, and I'm excited for that.
They're new and improved, designed by us for the most part, but there's a huge delay. So the schools, like now there's really only like 2 months until the event was supposed to take place, and 2 months for a school to design and build their own go-karts. Little short, but
we're moving the event till end of June.
The date is undecided currently. But the kits are here. So if anyone's listening to this, your kit is here. We're trying to get them out. We're trying to help get them delivered. We are not responsible for actually the delivering of them, but we're trying our best to help out as many people as we can. And so kits are here, guys. Grab them. And it's spring break.
I think we should get into the list of updates at Edison before we go on too long and get sidetracked. We got a lot of cool Edison updates. We got started saying that there was a lot of updates. So obviously we covered the batteries being done. That was a huge one. We're really happy with that. The other thing, the chassis are now complete. We were waiting a long time for steer axles, and we got the steer axles, but the wheel end kits. The wheel end kits are here, so now we're getting steer tires on. The Scania motor showed up. The second Scania was here now, so we can get that for the MCon. we went and did the cool thing on the updates. We did our training for Scania in Red Deer. So last week we went to Red Deer. We took our mechanics and our engineer, one of our engineers for integration, and we sat through their 3-4 day course. And now we're just sending off the paperwork to become official OEMs so we can be actual OEMs installing the Scania motors into our trucks. So the other Scania motors for the next projects have been ordered. The other ones are here. They're at the shop waiting to go in. The cabs have now finished engineering and now they're going into production. So the cabs are now being all built. Some of the cabs have actually already finished and are just going into painting. And hopefully we'll see those this year, but this week. But that's one of the big ones. Cabs are all in production. The first ones have already finished. And we'll be able to start getting that. So we have a full chassis. Now we got the motor. So now we can start on the next step of like putting things onto the chassis. Perfect timing.
Having all parts in is like insane for you guys because it seems like we're always waiting during build times. Like it's always waiting on parts, always waiting on this, always waiting. So having everything there, it's just like, hey, just let's go. We got
that being said, we're still waiting on batteries, so that's still a delay. But
everything's not quite here, but enough for right now.
Most of this stuff is ready.
Yeah, it's and we're already lining up parts for the next trucks. Like the Royal truck is already getting its parts showing up. And what we're going to do is we're going to build those ones in Golden. So I am basically going and loading up a ton of stuff into a shipping container. And I'm getting ready to ship there. And the plan is that when we move to Golden, all the stuff for that truck will be sitting there in the shop, ready to install. And we can see how fast we can build the truck if we're not waiting on parts. That's my goal on the next trucks. Just bang, 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 bang. Hopefully we can get one done in 2 weeks with a couple of mechanics and then reduce the time from there. But at least we're going to get Ray up. He's going to be documenting how long did it take to install that part, how long did it take to install this part, and put all those together. 1 truck, 2 truck, 3 trucks, see if that time is coming down. We can use that time estimate to therefore plan out our future builds.
Nice. That's very exciting.
Yeah, that's a huge step.
On the last podcast, I think I brought the question because you went to the Scania training and you were actually mid-training when you went there about why does Scania not need a DPF and an EGR? But I guess like the day after you learned a little bit more information about that in class. Do you remember that, Chase? Why does Scania not need a DPF or an EGR?
Yeah, I believe it was, now I got to remember a week back. And I remember this when we put it on the list. But I believe it's the high pressure. So they're running their fuel rail pressure a little bit higher. And that's atomizing the fuel a little bit better. So they're getting better burn of the fuel. They're running hotter. And they were big on insulation. Insulate all of your exhaust pipes because the distance between your turbo discharging your hot exhaust and where it hits that particulate filter and doesn't miss, it's designed to run at a hot temperature. If you're not running hot enough, then you're getting that DEF fuel. You see it like fluid. You've seen DEF. It crystallizes. It turns white. If you're not burning it, it's going to be crystallizing. It's going to be plugging up that system. You're going to want to make sure that it's hot so that the reaction can occur properly so that you maximize the amount of particulate you're taking out of your emissions. So because they're atomizing it better with a higher fuel rail pressure and they're basically insulating their exhaust pipes to make sure that that temperature maintains it. That's how they're getting a better combustion, from my understanding of the information.
I want to just correct myself on the topic that we're not talking about. I said that our premier put a tariff on Teslas. He didn't. He just removed incentives if you buy a Tesla, but only to Tesla. Just
okay.
Yeah. So people don't come at me.
Wasn't that program ending anyways because they were out of money? That's what I remember that one because we talked to the guys that the program was ending because they're out of money. So now we're totally not giving out incentives anymore on Tesla, even though we're out of money for incentives, as they told us like 2 weeks. Remember, we were in the video. That's
in Montreal.
Yeah.
So Montreal.
Oh, we're not doing incentives on the thing we ran up.
Wait a second. Wait.
That seems like some virtue signaling to me. But yeah, I just had to correct myself. But yeah, we did hear that they were ending EV incentives on small vehicles, but it was still open for large Class 8s.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Other cool updates. The mechanical truck, all of the design and engineering is on that, so we can get the drive shafts ordered. That one's a pretty exciting one. Alex just finished that up yesterday. That wasn't even in the show notes.
I'm quite excited about the mechanical trucks. I kind of want to jump. I know you guys just love when I jump around, but I kind of
we can jump.
But it brought me into the C500 and the W9 discontinuation, because if this is true and they're discontinuing this, the BDE, our mechanical trucks are just looking better and better, because people don't care about these heavy vocational. They don't care about these bed trucks. They don't care about the tri-drives. Like that market's open. Sorry.
Have we told people about the mechanical truck here yet?
Maybe. I think so.
I think we might have talked about it briefly.
Do we? Yeah. We are talking about it?
We are talking. Okay, special inside information for people listening to the podcast, because it's definitely not been mentioned anywhere else.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about it.
We already said it. So
I love teasing.
One of the things. So we are building a full mechanical drive truck. We're still building the hybrids, but we're building a normal truck with an 18-speed transmission and a drive shaft, because we realized that, like, look, our truck, you've got basically a motor. Instead of a generator, we can put a transmission. Instead of the batteries in the frame rail, we put the drive line. Instead of the e-axles, it's the mechanical axles. Everything else on the truck is pretty well exactly the same. Doesn't need to change. You do lose the radiator for the EV side, but that's just taking one radiator off. So if it's already the same truck, we can build mechanicals. And we've always said that we're going to take our time with the hybrid. We're going to do these development projects with partners and these partnership developments, where we're going to get the trucks out in the field. We're going to test them. We're going to make sure that they're bulletproof. And we got to make sure that they're getting, like, I need to know that hybrid electric truck can hit 1 million kilometers without any issues whatsoever. Like, they reliably bang off 1 million kilometers before I go to large scale production. That creates the issue of, how do we get to that large scale production until we test it? Do we just try and jump to production? I think that's what Nikola did. Nikola went into production, and then they had massive recalls, and they had a lot of recalls. They shut down their whole factory. They shut down all their production. They had to recall basically all of their trucks, and it cost them millions and millions and millions of dollars. Well, we can't afford to do that and go to production too early. But on the other hand, if we go too slow, then we're just relying on investor money to fund all of that research and development for years. We're not getting the experience building. We're not getting to kind of ramp up our production. So how do we solve this? A lot of people, when we were actually telling them, they reached out to buy a truck. And like you said, C500 is being discontinued. Our 6900 XD was being discontinued, or already is discontinued. How do people buy those trucks? And they're saying, hey, we're coming to you, you're building a hybrid. And we were telling them, no, sorry, we can't build you a truck until we've already sold all our spots for the hybrid. We need to build those and test those. And they said, well, I don't care about the hybrid. I just need a work truck to do the applications that I need a truck for. Can you put an 18-speed in? And we had enough people saying, hey, I want an 18-speed. I want a mechanical. Like, it doesn't matter that your hybrid's not ready. I believe in everything else your company stands for. A tough work truck, right to repair, no planned obsolescence. That's what I want. A simple, well-built work truck. Can you build it for me? And we crunch the numbers, and we can compete in that C500 category and still make a decent profit, and then use the profit from those mechanical trucks to fund the R&D for the hybrid truck, which I still believe is going to be exponentially better. The gains for fuel, the power, the peak load, the emissions point of view, the hybrid makes sense. But we can build mechanicals for now and compete with all the rest of them, because at the fundamental core, we are not an electric truck company. We are a truck company. Happens to make, so having two different product lines, that little bit of differentiation is going to allow us to scale our production with the shop in Golden, make sure we can make a profit and not rely on investor money.
I still, and I don't think, like, I think most people won't get it confused. Like, they know that we're still building hybrid trucks. That's the focus. That's what we want to do. That's what we believe in. But again, as you've said, right to repair, all those things, that is also Edison's ethos. That's what we believe in. So if we can slap together a mechanical truck, and that's what you want, you're our customer, we want what you want, We're doing the best for you. Let's build them. And these heavy truck market, they're being ignored because they're only selling. What did we Google that one time? I think it was like C500s. Is like 80 a year they sell. Not even.
No, it's like 300. But
it's 300. Okay, so anyways, but like compared to like a highway tractor, a nice T66 or whatever, those things sell like crazy. They're selling thousands upon thousands. They don't care about the small market. They just shove these guys to the side. That's why they're discontinuing them. They're not making the money they want to make. Still,
and that's a market we can focus on, though. It's great market. They're great trucks, and they were saying like I think he said like basically like 90% of the trucks are all of our C500s are all sold to Western Canada, whether they stay there or not. They get sold there. They get rigged up, and it's like this is the spot where they're going. And why are we building them down south when we could build them right here in Canada? If this is the largest market, I think I can't remember. It was like 300 trucks a year just in Canada. I guess that means like 340 elsewhere, 330 elsewhere. But
Wildly Coyote. Yeah, he made a good point there too.
He brought up the point. I was waiting to jump in there. There's a lot of other benefits to it too. Wiley says it allows you to refine other parts on the truck, like the cab and the hoods. And that's the thing. Building electric truck takes a long time. There's different stages. You have your programming, you have all the electrical work. So this allows the mechanics and other, I don't know, the trade people that work on the trucks to continue working when it would there otherwise be like a downtime depending on how many trucks we had built. And then you're also like, it's the same frame rails, it's the same cab. So you get those out there rattling down the road. You can figure out in a larger scale how like where weak points are, where you need to improve on and go from there. So you have more trucks out there. You also can like take advantage of economy of scale, and like you can order more frame rails at a time and like get cheaper prices on parts because you can order more at a time because you're building more and more trucks. Whereas the bottleneck of the slower parts of electric or hybrid would slow you down.
And I know Chase mentioned R&D quickly there, and like R&D is like these big companies put billions towards it. We have nothing to that scale. And it's like, okay, if we can start producing, start making more trucks, putting them on the road, making more money to help with the hybrid side. People mention to us every day, oh, what about trailer power? Oh, what about pickup trucks? All these other things you want us to do. Well, we can't just start doing the R&D on that. We don't have the money. So it's okay if we grow our company with our core values, our core focus, then we can expand on these other things. So it's better for everything if we can start building this smaller bit up and expand, like as we talked about.
Our goal is to just build trucks. Like, I think hybrid's better, but our goal is to be a truck manufacturer. So why wouldn't we compete in the traditional sense? If we're the only ones doing hybrid, we're still researching the hell out of hybrid. It still needs 3 years of product testing to get that 1,000,000 kilometers to make sure it's reliable. Like I'm not going to sit on our hands for 3 years and do limited builds. We got to get the trucks out there. And like Wildly Coyote said, it allows us to quality test everything else. And it also de-risks a lot because the motor comes with a warranty from Scania. The transmission,
drink,
the engine.
Everyone drink.
Chase is ready to just walk out.
If you're new here, there's a drinking game every time Chase calls engine a motor, you drink. Okay.
Yeah. So the Scania engine comes with a warranty from Scania. The rear ends have the rear end manufacturer warranty. The transmission has a warranty from, like everything has a factory warranty.
It's less liability on us. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we can send that truck out. We know it's all proven technology. It's all been engineered. A lot of these companies have signed off on the engineering for it, and we can just roll that out, offer a premium truck, and offer the warranty that comes with our supplier's warranty. And it de-risks it a lot for us.
Yeah, for sure.
This is a question we always get. I think we addressed it on last one. Jonathan Wood says, would you have that market come to Australia? I know of a lot of mine sites that would love that idea. And we love Australia. And we would like nothing more than to see our trucks pulling those road trains and working the Australian mines. For now, we're keeping it in North America.
But it's to be determined if tariffs really hit the U.S. hard and they start increasing it and it becomes uneconomical. And like, hey, it's hard to build the truck and sell it in Canada. Unfortunately, these tariffs came out after we had already bought the shop. So now we're locked in. Unless we raise hundreds of millions of dollars through an IPO, we are locked into building trucks in Canada. If it's expensive to sell to the US due to the tariffs, we can send that extra production to Australia. We just move the steering wheel over to the wrong side of the truck.
Never mind the Edison tri-drive. Let's do quad drive for Australia. Let's move from trains.
Do they have quad drives?
I'm saying let's be the first. I seen a custom one for an Aussie road train, but like I think it was just one guy did it, but it was dope.
When we do expand international, Australia will be one of the first on the list.
Here's a fun fact about Pacific Trucks. Do you know Pacific Trucks, one of their first customers was New Zealand? When they were building trucks in Langley, New Zealand and Indonesia were some of the major customers of Pacific. So going after the New Zealand, Australian market actually continues on the Pacific Truck legacy.
Burnaby Alex says Australia's got those Janus trucks that are used where they use a forklift to swap out the batteries. It's like a good step kind of in the right direction. I don't think it's perfect. Now you're running twice the batteries per truck.
From what I heard, and I mean, it's just rumors that they're having problems with that, not for the technology swapping, but running the infrastructure to have a massive depot when you had, imagine you have megawatt battery packs or half megawatt battery packs, and you've got hundreds of trucks coming in, switching out. Like once you scale it up, how do you charge that? Like that's what I want to know is like, if I have 500 trucks rolling in through the day and I got 500 battery packs on charging, you're looking at a megawatt. Well, you're looking at like 5 gigawatts of charging requirement to charge that. Like that's like 4 Site C dams to go into this charging thing in order to do that. If those trucks were all trying to switch their batteries out relatively at the same time, and like a truck stop can easily see, like the large ones can see 500 trucks in a couple hours. Like that's gigawatts of power. Running that power infrastructure to the Janus stations. Now, I don't know, maybe they're going to spread it out. I don't know what their plan is, but like that is an issue with that. Unless we have like nuclear fusion available, how are you powering those truck stations? Yeah. And then the fire risk is what makes me worried about Janus is imagine one battery. Like charging is the riskiest thing for batteries. And I think, I'm not sure of the chemistry, but if they're using lithium ion, which has thermal runaway, imagine you add, 500 of these semi-truck batteries and the entire thing lights up. Like you got to move that a ways out of town.
Yeah. Sorry. I was just going to hop in quick with that, the infrastructure. I do find that really interesting. If anyone's like, well, it won't be that far away. I remember when Edison was just an idea and we were still talking about this. It would have been like 2019. We talked about infrastructure being a problem then. And I've seen like I know in my area, I haven't seen, there's no, maybe the odd charger, the odd time. There's no more power centers up. Like Manitoba's huge for power production. We're not putting any more dams in at the moment. Like that's 5 years have passed and I haven't seen anything in my area for infrastructure going up for electric vehicles.
They don't seem to get on it.
They don't seem to get on it. So like are we, besides like the major hubs, Vancouver, Toronto, maybe they put some more in, but where's the power production? I'm not hearing of too many more dams going up. Like,
well, we had a meeting this week with BC Hydro. There, remember we did that meeting with Tokal, and the guy from BC Hydro was like, "Hey, we're really looking for lots to put in fast chargers." Yeah, and we thought, like, might as well reach out, see what they're offering. They're like, "We need land, like, please," and they're like, "We need somebody to put in the semi-truck charging." And we approached them, be like, "Hey, we've got this," and they're like, "Oh yeah, like we are definitely interested, but it could be a few years before, like, to get through the whole process." So it's like they're talking about years and years, and it's like,
yeah, you go to China with a good idea, and they just we're doing it. Like that next day they got excavators rolling in. But if you want to highlight Chad's stockings there, or sorry, you want to do?
Yeah. We can highlight Chad's. Chad asked a question, says, do you think the BDE is different enough in design to not have a company come after you for copyright infringement? Yes, the BDE is fairly different in design. When you check out a lot of the features of it, a lot of the features are different between the hood, the fenders, the cab, the split pillars, the cab shape. Almost every little angle has been changed. The overall design is similar in that you have a conventional truck with a high hood, but that's very similar between Hayes, Pacific, Kenworth, like International had a truck like that. Mack had a truck like that for their off-highway trucks. Western Star, like all of the trucks on their off-highway side kind of look like ours. Unfortunately, there's not too much you can change. Let's have a look at it this way. European cab overs all look very, very similar.
Yeah.
They are not suing each other over copyright infringement because they have the same shape, because that's the shape it needs to be to work. If you look at like the new Volvo, the new International, the new Cascadia, they're all very similar in their streamlined approach. It's just that that's the look. If you need a truck to do a job, that's the look it's going to be. So a C500 looks really a lot like a Western Star 6900. They do change a little bit more because now they're using more of their highway trucks. But if we go back to the 1970s, 1980s,
they all look the same. They all
look the same. Yeah. Unless we've actually had this issue that I get really annoyed at because our video editors can't tell the difference between our trucks. Like, they're like, we'll be talking about one of our trucks, like Carl or Old Blue or the bed truck, and they keep showing different trucks, and they're like, they all look the same, and you're like, no, they look different.
This one has a slight ridge on the hood, and it's 1.5 inches longer.
Yeah,
everybody knows that.
Well, it's like a split window. Like, it's got a split window, and the Kenworth A model has like the glass touches, and it's only a rubber split. But in the older model, it's got a full 1-inch strip. And you're like, oh, the Pacific, the fenders came out 2 inches more on the front than in the back. Like, it does get a little nerdy. I get it. But all the trucks look the same.
That was a really good point, though. And saying the cab over example was a real good one, because, they look very much the same. Let's just jump back onto the C500s and the W9L maybe getting discontinued. We saw this post going around social media the last couple of days saying that they were done. But you looked into a little deeper, Chase, and maybe it was just California, or do we have any more information?
I can't get it was put out from a Kenworth dealership in Fresno. It looks like it's authentic. Kenworth hasn't put out any kind of statement in reply, but it looks like Fresno Kenworth, I think it was Fresno, Santa Monica, one of the Kenworths in California said, hey, we're discontinuing these, the W900, the T800 wide hood, and the C500 are going to be discontinued in 2027. We will not be selling anymore due to emissions regulations. They call it emission regulations. There also have been a lot of rumors that they just want to streamline all of their cabs to the 2.1 meter cab, because right now the W9 uses a 1.9 meter cab. Their wider ones, like the T880, use the new 2.1 meter, and they're just saying like, hey, production wise, we want to shift everybody to the wide cab. Why do we have a different cab? Why are we still doing this? The new cab is the new cab. And they're like, so it's a rumor. It's like, and I could see it as like, are they trying to blame government rules and regulations on getting rid of the trucks that they've already been trying to get rid of economically wise? Like, it's funny. How come every environmental rule that the government makes is also the decision that leads to more profit for the companies implementing the rules? Yeah. Weird.
It's almost like there's lobbyists involved.
Like, remember that transmission rules for highway trucks? And you're like, hey, just so you know, like only 1 in every 10 trucks can be a manual. Oh no, it's better for the environment if you buy the $40,000 transmission over the $5,000 transmission. Like, that's definitely better for the environment.
And the $40,000 one that you can't repair and you have to go to this shop and buy from their parts, that one's better for the environment than the other one you could fix and swap yourself. Just remember that.
And I've heard from the loggers, like, they've been complaining about, I've heard a lot of people complaining about being able to repair their 880s, and like they have electric over air switches underneath, and like the switches are like $400 each, from what I've been told. And like, they ice up because they're no longer in the cab. The cab defroster isn't warming those valves up. Now the valves are freezing, and now you're sitting out there and like you can't torch it because it's plastic and it could melt the plastic, and they're expensive to replace. And like the amount of extra effort going on in there is like, just give me the old truck that worked really well.
This is where I get so excited for the BDE. Like, this is where it gets me so pumped up, because I'm like, okay, this could be a huge hit. Like, like focusing on making things easy for them to fix. Guys like that telling us like, hey, we were having these problems with new ones. Like, I could see it being a huge hit, which funds the hybrid side of things and keeps that moving forward.
Personally, California drives me nuts.
I have you on Facebook. I'm aware of your
but
I agree with most of it.
My sister just had a baby.
I
just got a text message right now. She literally just had her kid.
Wow, that's exciting. Good for you. I know you love being
yeah.
I'll show you the little camera here. Can you see it? There's a little baby. I don't know.
It's just shy.
Kids. Chase loves kids.
Yeah, that's right.
You're not supposed to expose yourself.
Oh, God, that is a baby.
Hey, you
that's a fresh baby. I don't know.
Excited. There was genuine excitement there. I'm proud of you. Attaboy.
You guys continue. I'm just gonna text my mom back and say congratulations.
So back on my California stance there, I got a video of Chase pissing on the Hollywood sign there.
Whoa.
Yeah, like 5 days ago. It was pretty funny. And if
Did we even say we were down there?
Well, we're gonna look to that right away. We're only
segue.
teasing. We're only teasing that.
And it was a water bottle. He did at the end of the peeing video turn sideways and show there was a water bottle.
For legal reasons.
Yeah, or like cancel culture or whatever you want to say.
Yeah. So your last week, I don't know how you want. I'm gonna let you do the tease because you know how much to toe the line on it.
So we did go down to Vegas. Stellantis flew us down there to go and do a review on their Ram heavy duty, the 2025s, and we're not allowed to. There's a embargo.
Okay, hold on. Let me get in this. So the baby and Kate, my sister, are both healthy. They're both doing great. I just heard that so I got that. We continue on with the podcast here, but fantastic. I'm an uncle, and it's a boy. So I get to be an uncle to a boy, which is way more fun because now we can do cool truck shit instead of whatever the girls are doing.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah,
very exciting stuff.
Yeah, no, so that's exciting. Happened live while we were having a podcast. So
live while we were live.
Anyways, so Ram invited us down. So this is going to be one of the cool things. Ram Trucks invited the Edison Motors guys down to come in, meet with them. We met with their executive teams. We met with their engineers. We talked about the Ram Charger. We got to talk about what we were doing. We got to really, like, the vice president of Ram Trucks took us out for dinner.
That is crazy.
Sat down with us, and we were able to talk about everything. And that's awesome. There's not a lot we're allowed to talk about right now. It's under embargo going forward, but we were able to go out after that. They took us out. We were able to test drive all their new fancy trucks, which I'm not allowed to talk about.
Watch what you say. Watch what you say.
So I'm not allowed to talk about anything. We went down to Ram. We met with a lot of people. We filmed it. There's a video that will be coming out at some point in the future once we are allowed to talk about it. And yeah, so
I got it. Okay, so that's all you can go with it. I got one with your Vegas trip here. Just in the show notes, there's just quotations. Vegas sucks. I'm intrigued. What threw
Vegas
that out?
Does suck.
It's so overrated. You can walk the strip once or go to like a good show, like a comedy show. Go to a concert there. Cool. But the whole town layout is stupid.
My mom's calling about it. So you guys go into how much Vegas sucks. I'm going to take this phone call from my mom and see how.
The hotels are ridiculous. The way that they're laid out is so you get lost. They don't put proper signage. So you have to walk around by all the slot machines and whatever and get lost in the malls so that you have to go by all the stores. It's purposely confusing, and then it's so we could not wait to get out of Vegas. Once you see it once, that's good. The water stinks. You walk and there's all these manholes, and we thought it was sewage, but I guess it's just the water stinks so bad. The water coming out of your hotel tap smells like sewer, and it was awful. But we made the most of it. We did a couple little day trips out. They paid for us to go down and gave us a truck to drive around. So we just were we're getting out of Vegas.
Yeah.
And we did a little cool sightseeing things. We ran over. It's there's a lot in a few hour radius. So we ran over and peed on the Hollywood sign and did a couple other cool things. I got some pictures up on my Facebook or Instagram.
I had to fly out of Vegas once. We were in Phoenix, and our flights got delayed due to snowstorms so bad that like we couldn't get any new ones. So we're like, well, there's flights out of Vegas, so we rented a van and flew out of Vegas. But we just drove the strip, and I remember thinking, I was like, oh man, like I've seen the strip in like movies, TV shows, all that. That's it. That's all it is. That's the Vegas Strip, and then that's it. Like I was like,
one thing
to come here again.
That was so cool though. When we were walking the strip, like, have you ever seen those videos where it's like in like a city, and then there's a bunch of dirt bikers and ATVers just like catwalking everywhere, right down the main roads, like through the city, and then like a cop tries to get them, and they just all screw off. Like we saw that happen right down the Vegas Strip. Guys are just like straight up and down catwalking. I was pretty impressed by that. No cops went after him. I don't even think they would.
Yeah. If anyone has not seen the movie Casino, go watch that tonight. Great movie on Vegas.
We didn't do any gambling.
No, you went to Vegas and didn't gamble.
No, we're not gamblers. The thought of just giving my money away makes me sick. And plus, we don't really have money to do that with anyway at this point in our lives and career. But one of us found 10 cents while walking through the casino. So we actually came back with a little bit of money.
Wow, you won money in Vegas. You're ahead.
Yep. Good restaurants there, but overall could not wait to get out.
Nice.
Yeah.
I thought Chase would be back by now. There's almost at the end of it.
That's pretty exciting. What else was on the list? Cannot talk about. So the embargo is
I love that. So one second, I love that we put things on the show notes that says "don't talk about." It's like, wait, right? Like we gotta have those in there.
We can tease it. The embargo is until the 18th, so 2 more days. But we have that video is going to take quite a bit. We got a bunch of good footage, and DeBoss Garage came down with us, which is good to have them, and awesome hanging out with him. Plus, he has like a lot of insight on pickup trucks, which I really have to watch how I talk about too.
Oh, maybe just
yeah. Okay, moving on.
Not even.
One thing that was cool. I sat right. So we were like having dinner with the VIP, and then there was Andre from Fastlane Trucks. He's got like a 1.3 million on his YouTube. He was there, and I sat right across from the guy who does all the interiors of all the Dodges, like the top guy. So I got to sit there. I was like, yeah, and it was really neat to just get acknowledgement from like a main OEM, and that. Another drinking game to play is every time that Chase calls a Ram a Dodge, because they're not the same.
Okay. Oh, I got in so much shit. Sorry, I'm back, guys, for on the audio. Update. We don't have a name for the baby yet. They haven't gone in. They're
BW put in the chat. BW put Edison question mark for the baby name.
Right, Thomas. Oh, that'd be funny if it was named Thomas. They're obviously not going to do that. But yeah, no. It was kind of cool listening to all of the design philosophy that went in the interior, how they styled it. Anyways, we can't talk too much about that, but they did give me shit so much about saying Dodge Ram.
Yeah. Like they programmed it.
It's okay, wait. So yeah, it's not a Dodge Ram?
No. See, that's what we
did. It used to be. It used to be. Everybody used to say, "Oh, Dodge Ram 1500." It wasn't a Ram.
No, apparently it's been 12 years that Dodge has not owned Ram. Ram has been a separate brand for like 10, 12 years.
So it's like GMC and Chevy, like they're the same fucking thing, but they're the same thing, but they're not.
There was a guy who's like, if you're still calling a Ram a Dodge Ram, you're just being. What did he say? It was like
you're just being ignorant and willfully ignorant because it hasn't been it hasn't been a Ram Dodge in 10 years.
Nobody knew that, did they?
I didn't know that. We just bought one, and I bought the Ram from the Dodge dealership. It's Kamloops Dodge that sells the Ram trucks, but it's a totally separate brand now.
It's just Ram. I know they'll say Ram now, but I just assumed it was Dodge Ram because they always used to be the Dodge Ram 1500.
And you buy them from a Dodge dealership, and it's been Dodge.
That's crazy.
But yeah, no, it's not. And I kept saying the Dodge Ram, but
it's mad about. They should advertise that more. Then,
like we can.
Which it also makes it funny. Like when we were talking about the Ram Charger, we like asked what the official name of the Ram Charger is. They're like, so is it the Dodge Ram Charger? No, not Dodge. It's just Ram. And you're like, so it's the Ram Charger? No, it's the Ram Charger. So it's the Ram Charger.
What?
The Ram Charger.
The Ram Ranch Charger?
The Ram Ranch Charger.
There were definitely jokes made about that. Yes.
Nice. Good. Sorry to be late on those.
We can say, unfortunately, that the Ram Charger was not there. But if we do good, we made the right connections. So
they said that they're going to invite us back. So they wish they could have taken us out in the Ram Charger. It just wasn't available at the time when we were there to be giving some test rides to. But they said when we're ready, you guys are going to be some of the first people back to check out this Ram Charger once it's ready to show off and take it for a test drive. And,
we're excited about that.
I got to go to one of these things. Please, guys. Please bring me to one of these events.
We've said it before and we'll say it again. Like, out of all of the truck OEMs doing it, I personally think that Ram is like the closest on it. Like, they make
Dodge
the
Ram?
most sense.
Oh, yeah. From what I don't know, we can't talk too much about it, but what we learned on the Ram Charger, it's like we are bang on with what we did with Edison. They have bang on our drive line in theory and concept, and like honestly, I think they get it. It. We can't say much more about things, so we should move on before we.
I was going to move on.
Spoilers, we can't say.
Theron popped in there with mentioning another YouTube channel and their followers. I was going to say, what's ours at? Isn't like 500,000? Have we hit 500?
It's like 6,000 shy, or it's within 10,000.
Whatever it is, insanely impressive. You know, always claps for Theron on that, building that up. Like, I was with the one of my favorite podcasts that I followed the other day said what they had, and I was like, wait, like it was like substantially less than us. I was like, they're very big and well known, and they have less YouTube followers. So you build it, like, you huge backbone behind the page. Awesome job. Claps for that.
Like Fastlane Trucks, who was there, Andre. Like, they got 1.3 million followers, and they have a full team. Like, they have a big team doing it. And I look back, and he's been doing it for like 15 years.
Yeah,
like 12 years. We've been doing it. Our YouTube channel's been here for maybe 3.
Yeah,
and
very
we're halfway to our goal of 1 million. Basically, we're close to that goal of halfway of the million. And we told everybody that, like the employees and Theron and that they're getting a big bonus in shares once we hit 1 million.
No, that's very exciting.
That's how we're going to celebrate the big milestones. I feel like we should do something for 500,000, but I don't know what
big milestone.
It is a big milestone. Like, how do we celebrate 500,000? Like, what
everyone gets half a bonus.
Something super cheap, because I like that, Jordan. But something super cheap because we don't have money.
Yeah, we don't have that much money. We are relying on investor money. So like,
can't
like for 100,000, we did the bed truck smashing up a car. What if we did like some like have some kind of charity event or something, or just
I like this,
whatever for like just smash the
like charity event, like do something, be like, please give us money because we're broke.
Charity, but like an actual thing. Like, no, I was thinking just. What if we just did something cool with a bed truck? I know we did it for 100,000, where we took the bed truck and smashed her into a minivan. So it's like, do we do the same thing again? That sounds kind of boring to do the same thing. Like,
everyone likes it every time.
A lot of our followers, I guarantee, like I'd say 99% of our followers never saw that. Like,
oh, Chad says just have a barbecue. You know what? I don't think that's the end of the world. It's like we bring the bed truck out to Golden. We bring the bed truck out. We invite a bunch of people out. And we just grill a bunch of hot dogs, some hamburgers. That's relatively cheap. Like, I can afford that personally. I'll spend like $300-400 in hamburgers, and we just invite everyone out, and we just smash up some minivans with the bed truck.
Yeah.
If you think we're eating steak, you came to the wrong place.
What's the weight?
Getting a hot dog.
What's the weight capacity on the crane excavator? Could we lift up and release a car like kind of high?
I asked about that to my crane buddy. Number one, the crane excavator doesn't have a great capacity, but number two, dropping it will shock load your boom and cause stress cracks in the boom. You really don't want to do a release where you're kind of near. They do, but the thing is, you don't want to use them unless it's an emergency, or if you do the quick release, you want to be well under your rated capacity. Like, don't take the crane excavator out that's at its max capacity, because the boom is designed to be like a fishing rod and deflect, and you're going to fleck that back. Now, if you're not near your rated capacity, you're not bent very far, so your spring back isn't very far. But if you load that thing to the max,
someone would have to tell me, and maybe there's not a difference, but it seems like telehandlers do a lot better. Sorry, Theron. It seems like telehandlers do a lot better with shock loading. I don't know what the difference in their boom is, but
anyway, I got 2 ideas. Run something over with the new Terex loader.
Yes.
Crush something. And also roll that ball down, the giant wrecking ball at the yard down the gravel pit into something. Those are two great ones.
Oh, yeah. Let's smash some stuff with the gravel. So we're just basically going to have a redneck destruction day at the Golden property to celebrate 500,000.
During a barbecue.
Clay pigeons.
During a barbecue.
Dope. All right.
Oh, yeah. Do some clay pigeon shooting. I'm down for that.
I'd be into that.
I'm down for that. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So we're just having a redneck day at Edison. Inviting some people out, doing some clay pigeon shooting, smashing up some cars, hitting things with a giant steel ball. Like that's how we're celebrating 500,000 by just having a big old redneck event.
Bueno.
Sounds good.
Now we're within like near 6,000, so like we better get on planning that.
Oh, you can do it after the fact though. Like, hey guys, we hit 500. Now we're at 520. Like, doesn't matter. You're just sitting outside in a field at 4,999, just like sitting there, just waiting.
We're 9,014 away, but yeah, we can do it like within a month or so after.
I like that.
It's so bit like a big, it kind of almost like a.
I'd plan out to come for that. I'd plan out to come for that. That would be
the big 500K celebration party / groundbreaking.
I'm flying out to that.
All right, we'll plan a date. That's what we're doing.
If you give me a date,
we're getting a bunch of hot dogs.
We need to buy like a $200 beater to run over with that Terex loader.
Yeah, and a minivan to hit with a bed truck.
I love hitting with the bed truck. Can we put the
exoteric wrecking ball bowling with cars? Can you just line a bunch of cars up, like dig a little hole, stick them in the ground, start the ball on the hill, and then let the ball go and see if you can knock over the cars?
How many cars you can knock over? Yeah,
I like that. Yeah, it'd be okay. So we got some good ideas. Looking at the list, I think we're getting right through it.
Topsy won't be ready yet. I don't know if the batteries will be back in time. Batteries are still 45 days away. Yeah.
I don't think we should be smashing into anything with Topsy right now. Let's do that with the bed truck.
You don't want to smash that, Topsy
that took so long to make. Let's keep it all right for a little bit.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the plan then.
Nice.
Do we have anything else on our list of updates that happened in the last week to cover?
I think that's most everything.
The go-kart kits. I get a lot of messages, people asking, where do you get the go-kart kits? Can you sell me a go-kart kit? We can't. We only ordered that much, but like you just order them off Alibaba. There's lots.
Oh my God. If you guys if you're listening and watching this podcast, go on Alibaba. It is just the wildest time if you just want a bunch of like cheap Chinese shit, but you want hundreds of it.
Yeah, it is wild. Like, I know I haven't ordered there too much, but I've ordered a few things, and like you talk to some person with very broken English and text message, and next thing you know, there's something at your house. In like 2 months, you forgot about it, and then it's there. But it's interesting.
You just have to say what you mean about 4 different times.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Be repetitive and really dumb it down what you mean, because we have
anyone that hasn't used Alibaba, if you're getting into it the first time, it's connecting you directly from you directly to a person that works in the factory on the sales team.
Nice.
Exoteric gave us $20 for hot dog money. Right there, he threw $20 into the chat. Big shout out. All right, we're already getting the hot dog party started.
He already bought himself 10.
Yeah, with Alibaba there, I was just like, the first time I did it, like, the broken English. I'm like, okay, you got to know they're going into Google Translate and typing everything you're in. So don't put anything like confusing or complex in your text. Keep them simple to the point.
No
what
slang.
I like to do is
no slang, nothing.
You best thing you can do is like when you're getting in there, you have to enter it, translate it, and then retranslate it again.
Yeah.
And like if it makes sense, by the time you retranslate it, then you're good to send it.
Yeah.
Also, for Alibaba though, you have to order like a lot. Like they normally have a fairly large minimum order quantity.
To make it cheaper. You can order, like, I've ordered a few small things. It's just like you don't get as good of a deal.
Yeah, you can order a sample price, but then the shipping and the price of doing the sample is just, like, kills you.
Well, I ordered some ground dispersion mats, and I think I got them for like $75 a piece, where in Canada they're about like $180, $200. So it's like, okay, like it was still quite a bit cheaper.
Oh, that's still a good
I
deal.
didn't order that many though. If I ordered a bunch, it went down to like Wildly Coyote. Jeez, guys.
Oh, Wildly Coyote
burgers.
threw in $20. Said, "Don't forget the burgers." All right, we got hot dogs and we got burgers, so we got $40 already towards the Edison Day 500,000 fund.
Nice.
All
I
right.
like this idea.
Yeah, I'm. This is shaping up to be good. This will be really fun. I hope we follow through with it. That's a good idea.
Oh, we're definitely gonna follow through.
If
Eric was just gonna be annoyed that we now announced.
Yeah,
we just planned an entire festival without Eric's permission, but I'm all right with that.
Definitely set a date ASAP so I can book some plane tickets. But I'm down. Like I said, it was gonna come out this spring, and like I've just been kind of waiting for something. I'm like, okay, this is it. That's all.
It'll have to be once the ground's dry, which will be 2-3 months. And we need to get the bed truck over there. If anyone, so getting near the end of this podcast, if any of you guys are listening on a podcast platform, this is recorded live on our YouTube. And if you're watching on YouTube, this will be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So if you didn't catch it all, you just caught 10 minutes, you can listen to it while you're at work in your pickup. So
I know
follow us there.
I always hate telling people what to do, but you can do whatever you want. But I love like the ratings and comments actually do help a lot on Spotify and everything. So I know it's annoying when it pops up. You want to rate this? I always say no, but it does help. You know, if you don't mind giving us a little rating or 5-star, that would help.
We are starting over. Jordan and Chase used to have the Blue Collar Interview podcast, but there's just so much stuff at Edison going on, and our schedules are crazy that now it's moved over to the Edison podcast. So we're rebuilding it. So thank you guys.
In our hiatus, like I've never really talked about this, but I try to get our old account to post all this stuff on. But in the hiatus, I had to track it. Anchor got sold to Spotify, and then Spotify rebranded it to Podcasters, and then they rebranded it again to something else. And now it's a whole different app, and I couldn't go get my old one. And I emailed and tried like to contact someone, and there was no helping. So it was like, all right, what do I do? I did try though to get the old account just so we could post these on the old account, but I could not get back in. So it's just sitting there in limbo.
We got a new one, so we just have to rebuild it from scratch.
Exactly. We'll just start.
And this is going to be a fun little thing. It's like we do weekly updates, or hopefully weekly updates. Somebody 10 years from now is going to really enjoy following the progress of Edison.
Well, even like going through some of the old ones sometimes, like I really wanted to get some animated. I should go to Fiverr and get some of the episodes where we talk about Edison stuff really early on, get them like animated in clips. I think that would be so cool to put up on our YouTube. Like I've seen people do that before, and like just have like just quick animation of us talking about this stuff so early on, like way before any of this came to be.
We got a new video editor that came with us down to the States. He's Aldo. He's great. He worked with me on some of the bigger projects that were too big for me to do, and he's been at Disney for the last like close to 6 months a year doing an animation project, like making a Disney TV show. And so he needs to get his permanent residency, and because Disney was like contract based, he needed full-time work, which worked out great for us. He has a bachelor in film and animation, but he does animation. So we have a guy.
We got a guy. Nice.
We have a guy.
We have a guy on our team already who does animation. Well, that's sweet.
Whenever we have brief or like dead time in our production that we
that's a good one. There's something slow, like board project where every now and then just go to the old podcast, listen to good snippets.
Yeah, we never have slow.
We don't.
We are so I'm gonna stop that right there. We are not gonna have time for Aldo to do animation. We're like 4 videos behind right now on long format.
Then we'll go to Fiverr to get these animations done.
But we did have in detailed conversations about having the Edison trucks, like the like dragons doing trucks Reddit posts and stuff like that. You ever watch those? Reddit threads?
I'm gonna send you a link to dragons effing cars. There's an entire subreddit dedicated to dragons having sex with cars. Like you can just Google dragons having sex with cars, and like there's an entire thing
I don't think
full of like that. And then there's also cars banging dragons. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but nobody's made Topsy bang a dragon yet. Like, sorry, I've never hired commission work, but like I'll commission that.
That's
just
a Reddit.
to see the BDE
I don't want to go down.
banging a dragon.
I'm not going down that Reddit rabbit hole. That is, you guys are.
I'm gonna send you pictures anyways.
So we
we have dick in the group chat. You're getting them whether you want them or not.
Yeah, we have a guy for that now, and
nice. Today's too busy, but that's cool that we have a guy who's done animation.
Yeah, and so we're really trying to elevate our content, and we got more content. Keep those going. It's getting better. It's getting better.
Yeah,
and we're just way behind. Like Chase said, we're like 4 videos back, and it's hard for me to do all the editing when I also have to go do all the filming and go on all the other things. So this will give me more time to be able to be there when things happen. We'll always have guys editing the videos, and I still do that too. Like this whole weekend, I've been working on this freaking golden one, and which is turning out a lot better than the first draft. And oh, there it is. Jace is texting us, Dragons having sex with cars, and the message just came in. And
I got mine muted right now. I don't need to see it.
So I don't care. You're getting pictures of dragons banging cars now. I'm not even listening to the podcast anymore. I'm just sending Jordan pictures of dragons banging cars.
All right. Do you think that's a good note to end on? Anything else?
Yeah, that's probably the appropriate time to end this conversation.
I think that's as far as it needs to go today. It can't get any worse.
No. So let's do that. All right, guys. Thanks. And what else? Someone else do a final word there. Don't leave because you have to.
I was looking at my phone.
Your audio needs to upload. Do not leave.
Okay. So we'll wrap that up for the week. The big highlights of this week was finishing up the Scania training, beginning the process to get registered as OEM. The batteries the first set of batteries finished production, and we gave the green light to produce the rest of the batteries. The cabs are being built. The first one is actually almost finished, and hopefully will be here next week. So not only are the cabs finished, the chassis finished. Hopefully we'll be able to put starting cabs on. The parts for the mechanical trucks have already been showing up. We've got transmission, rear ends, everything already sitting in the shop. And we went down to Ram trucks. Almost said Dodge. We went to Ram trucks. We met with their executive team, their engineering. We discussed the Ram Charger, the hybrid, what we're doing. And we got to test drive their trucks. And I peed on the Hollywood sign, and Jordan saw a dragon bang in a car. So
yeah,
that
I didn't need to, but I did.
Oh, and my sister had a baby.
Very exciting.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
See you, boys.
Great. See ya.
All right.
And